Let's solve a problem on the equation of line. What are the x and y intercepts of the line 3x plus 2y equal to 5? And what is the equation of the line perpendicular to this line and passing through the midpoint of the points of its intersection with the x and y axis? Let's see how this line looks like. First draw the x and y axis. So this is the x and this is the y. So I name it x axis and I name this y axis. Y axis. So the equation of the line which is said here is looking like 3x plus 2y equal to 5. So how will this equation look like on the real coordinates? Will it be like this or will it be like this? Now this right side one is a positive slope. So while I am explaining this solution, maybe just good to brush up some basics. Slope is positive. If the line looks like this, the slope is negative. But how does the real slope for this line looks like? For this particular line? I'll just circle this line. So this is the line in question. So is the slope of this line positive or negative? How do we find out? We find out by expressing this equation as y equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope and c is the y-intercept. So y-intercept is the point at which this line intersects the y-axis. So how do we arrange this? So 2y, we send the 3x to the other side, equal to minus 3x plus 5. But I need it as y equal to mx plus c, so I don't want a coefficient for y. So I divide the entire thing by 2. So y is equal to minus 3 by 2 x plus 5 by 2. So the slope is this one, which is a negative slope, minus 3 by 2, which is minus 1.5. And the y-intercept is 5 by 2, which is plus 2.5. So because the slope is negative, so we are actually dealing with this type of a line. If the slope is negative, the line will be like this. And so the line should be like this, something like this, something like this, because the slope is negative. Because y equal to mx plus c, if we arrange this 3x plus 2y equal to 5 as y equal to mx plus c, So it's 2y is equal to minus 3x plus 5, divide by 2 whole all through. So y equal to minus 3 by 2x plus 5 by 2. So slope is minus 1.5. So it will be tilting towards this side, like I explained. And the y-intercept, which means the point at which it cuts the y-axis, is positive. So this line should actually move up like this, because only then the y-intercept would be positive. Now this is the y-intercept, the point where it cuts the y-axis, which is 5 by 2, which is 2.5, 0, because the x, we always write the x coordinate first. So on the y-axis, the x coordinate is 0, 0, comma 2.5. But when we say intercept, intercept is the length, this particular length, which I'm going to shade in blue. So this particular length is 2.5. So the y-intercept is 2.5 units, whether it be centimeters or meters. Now we need the x-intercept. X-intercept is the point at which this line intersects the x-axis, which is this point. And at this point, the y-axis is 0. So in this line, I'll again mark with red. In this line, you just make the y as 0. So what do we get? 3x plus 0 is equal to 5. So x is equal to 5 by 3. So 3x plus 2y, 2y is 0 because y is 0 here at this point. So 3x is equal to 5. So x is 5 by 3. So this is the x-intercept. X-intercept is 5 by 3, which is, how much is this? 1.66, etc. It's a recurring decimal units. So the coordinates of this point is, we have the x-intercept, which is 5 by 3, comma 0, because the y-coordinate of any point on x is always 0. So we got the two answers here. So I'll just block this answer. So we got the y-intercept and the x-intercept, which is 2.5 and 5 by 3. So now we got the two things. Now what is the equation of the line which is perpendicular to this line and passing through the midpoint of these 2 points of intersection with the x and y axis? So we are talking about the point, this point. So firstly, let's find out what is this point? What are the coordinates of this? Because it's the midpoint, we just add the x coordinates and divide by 2, average of the x coordinates. So which is, so the x coordinate is of this point, x is 0 plus pi by 3, the whole by 2. Because it is the average of the x coordinates of the 2 points of whose midpoint we seek. And the y coordinate is 2.5 plus 0, the whole by 2. So which is, so I'll just put an arrow here. So the midpoint, so I'm just writing the coordinates of the midpoint. I'll just put this in green. Pi by 6 and pi by 4. These are the coordinates of the midpoint. I'll just rub off this calculation uh, because I have to draw a line here now. I'll draw the line in blue. So this line has to be perpendicular to the red line. So it is perpendicular. And passing through this point, which is 5 by 6 and 5 by 4. 5 by 6, 5 by 4. So the equation of this line, because we already have a point, and the thing is we already know the slope of this line. The slope of this line is -1 divided by the slope of the original red line. So slope is -1 divided by -3 by 2. Because the original red line, the slope was, this was the slope of the original red line, y equal to nx plus c. So -3 by 2 was the slope. So the slope of any line which is perpendicular to this line would be -1 divided by -3 by 2, because the product of these slopes, m1 and m2, should be -1. So that's the rule for the perpendicular lines. m1 dot m2 is -1. So the slope here would be, just for the sake of clarity, I'm just rubbing this off and writing the actual slope. And I'll just write this in blue. Slope is 2 by 3. Because if I multiply this 2 by 3 with the -3 by 2, I get -1. So now the equation of this perpendicular line is very easy to find out, because how we do this, we already know one point. So the equation of this line would be y minus the y coordinate of the point that we know already, which is 5/4, divided by x minus the x coordinate that we already know on this blue line, which is 5/6, is equal to the slope. So y minus an already existing point, uh, y coordinate, which is, so y minus 5/4 upon x minus the already existing points x coordinates, x minus 5/6. So y minus 5/4 upon x minus 5/6 will be equal to the slope of this line, which is 2 divided by 3. This is the equation of this perpendicular line, which is also the answer. So we just have to multiply the 3, we have to cross multiply with y minus 5/4, and the 2 we have to multiply with x minus 5/6, and just rearrange the things and we get the slope. So that's the final answer. Thank you.